Thanks for tuning in to Season 2 of the Holla Points Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And what do we do, Coach?
We accept the challenge of providing dangerous, thought-provoking, and sometimes controversial insights into life's most common topics.
Get your mind right, yeah. Get your mind right.
And the nigga 64, this nigga got his real check and Social Security, and like, it's not fair. Of course he can do more trips. The motherfucker's retired.
Right. And he on disability. Like, what the fuck?
Exactly. This nigga done been dishonorably discharged from the military and everything. What the fuck is we doing? So I think that's the thing where we have to realize, what am I really going for? Am I going for somebody who can financially support me? Because the fact is, with that could cut off. You know what I'm saying? We was talking about child support. And, you know, the fact that if you don't plan for what happens after 18 hits, a lot of these bras be caught off guard. Like, it's kind of like the motherfucker that complain about not having money for Christmas for their kids. Mm-hmm. Christmas is a static holiday that happens every year at the exact same time.
Birthday.
How are you surprised that Christmas
doesn't change? Right.
This is the most ridiculous argument I've heard, but I grew up hearing it all the time. Kids, we're not gonna really have a Christmas I wanted y'all to have this year. How? You had a year. You had from the 26th of last year to get this shit together.
For planning.
You are a man. You have purposely tried to fuck this up, because this is not the first time you've had this speech ready for us. Like, that kind of shit, it bothers me. But that's when people start accepting excuses. And you have reasons and you have excuses. And a lot of this, why women aren't happy and all that, these are all excuses. There's no reason a good woman should not be able to find a good dude, unless you qualifying good with a misappropriate number. Because if you ask a woman what her number is, nobody's going to say 5. Few are going to say 6. Many are going to say 7. And the ones that's really feeling themselves is going to say 8, 9, or 10. It's few that's going to say 10. Because then now they feel like they putting a number out there that you can then judge them by. And if anything go wrong, if they get sick or have a bad week, you can be like, oh, look, you ain't giving off that 10 energy you had. You know what I'm saying? But two tens don't usually get together. If you thought that Will was a 10 and you thought that Jada was a 10, look at how that shit worked out. Everybody be on Denzel about Pauletta, because Pauletta is not a motherfucking 6. And they say Denzel is the sexiest man alive type shit or whatever. But that shit is they still together. You know what I'm saying?
What
they
is
still
Paula?
together.
I don't know what she is to people. But.
Man, I think the situation is, this is the problem too. And this is just us talking on this shit. It's my point. If I saw Pauletta and didn't know who she was, I would be like, oh, she decent. She decent. I'll give her 6. And she old though, so it's kind of different, but you'll get where I'm going when I say this. Mm-hmm. I've seen somebody and thought they was decent. And then when I seen who they was with, I thought he could do better. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of a sudden her number goes down because his number is higher, or his number goes down because her number is higher. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
until you mature though, because once you figure out what she can cook or what she can do, her financial skills or whatever skills Paula got, or motivational skills, because to motivate a dude to do training day and all that shit, you probably got to be exceptional,
right? The thing about it is, he like it, I love it. Your relationship is not a community project, so you gotta love what you got. Now, if you happen to be proud of it, that's great. But don't be upset when you proud of it and everybody like, he kind of chubby for me, or he kind of this for me. You know what I'm saying? I've been in relationships where we done joned on each other about different things, you know, whether it be my eyebrows too thick or she done picked up some weight or whatever. But we good with this because we keep coming back to it. When you start predicating your success in your relationship on physical things, be mindful that God ain't gonna work too well with you, because age is a physical dynamic. Age is a mental and emotional dynamic too, but it's clearly a physical thing. You can clearly see a 52-year-old woman and know she's not 20. Like,
True.
You do have some people that had that Halle Berry gene. You do have some people that forever, like what's my Hill Harper, right? That nigga like in his 60s and he look young than a mother.
Damn, he in his 60s.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, he in his 60s, bro. But some people had that, and that's that genetic proliferation that I was talking about earlier. I'm sure if you seen his mama, daddy, auntie, and them, some of them in that family all look too young for their age. but is that attractive to everybody? Some people feel like that youth means that you have health, and that's why they want to have kids with somebody that's healthy. Right. But if you're not trying to have kids with these broads, you need to come off of she need to have a 6-pack, and she need to, look like she can birth childbearing hips and all this and that when you're not trying to have a child. Like that's ignorant because you still holding on to old you and old you standards when you're not even old you. Like you need to. So when you say, I need to evolve my perspective of attractiveness? I do. Mm-hmm. I should.
Right.
I should.
Okay.
But I also have to be able to be like you and mature enough to provide time into what I'm willing to spend my time on and who I'm willing to spend my time with. Because when you talk about that equally yoked situation and finding that spot where she's cute, she's all round great. She's all round the best. It's the 80-20 rule. 80% of everything she's doing is exactly what I need and want in my life. And that's when you find a wife, you find a good thing. Right? Yeah. That's when you found a wife because she's already there. You're not building a wife.
Right.
You're not
you
rehabbing
should never
a
build
chick to be
a fucking wife. You should find a wife. She should be ready.
Absolutely. She should be established.
Not perfect.
It should be.
We're not saying perfection. We're saying she should already at least be wife.
If you think about it like a house, she got good bones. You might need to paint,
right, and
you might want to put a different tub in there or a different door on the front. But the way it's laid out, the way it's set up, and that's the same thing with bodies. It's the same thing with some women. Some men are breast men, some women are ass men. But the way it's laid out, it's got good bones. And if you so inclined, you talk to her and say, when was your best time? Like, how do you feel about yourself? Like, and if she say, I would love to do this or that, if you're willing to do this or that with her, then y'all need to be on that journey together because now y'all reinforcing the investment. But when you feel like she got to have, women do this more than dudes. He got to have all his fucking shit together. 100%. He got to be established. He got to be a good this and a good Samaritan. And he got to be ready, made, and packed before she get with him. Mm-hmm. In order for her to really give him everything she got, not realizing that's putting so much pressure on you.
But if this dude is all flags. Of that. So you said watch the red flags. If a woman wants you to have everything and she's not willing to grow together, that's a red flag because that means she wants you to have stuff together for her retirement party.
Well, see, the problem is this. You would offend a broad if you was willing to accept that meeting, that conversation. So I got all my shit together, right? I end up meeting up with a chick and she like, I really just like the fact that you forward thinking, you got some investments, you this, you that, or whatever. Ooh, what do you like about that? I just think it's good for a man to, and when you start doing that shit, a real man, or you know what I'm saying? When you start doing that shit, then my question is, why do you deserve that now? Today. Yeah. Don't talk about where you're headed or your trajectory or your transition into, or you want to go to church more today. Why do you deserve that dude? And you're going to get a lot of crickets because women who already there aren't looking for a dude if it happens, it happens. And that's a beautiful thing when people that are equally yoked connect and collide in the universe. But what happens is you end up running into those type of relationships where she's already together and everything is good and she just came off of a long whatever, or somebody died or whatever the case may be. Those happen because somebody who loves you connected you with somebody else who just happened to be in a similar situation. That's how those relationships really, if you look at in your life and times, the people who was really straight and met somebody that was really straight happened because somebody that really loved both of them hooked them up, put them on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They seen the connection. They seen that, man, this could work. It's not a situation where she was out hunting, because if she's straight, why is she out hunting? If he's really straight, Why is he out hunting? Now, I'm not saying that you have to be straight. Keep in mind, what I'm saying is it's okay to want, because we're not designed to be solitary creatures. We're not designed to live alone. That's why people in solitary go crazy. They start hearing voices and all that. We're not built for that. But what I am saying is don't just take whatever, miss right now instead of waiting on miss right. There should be standards that you have and qualifications that you have. This concept of, if I date you, I got to give you money for daycare or you know what I'm saying? Babysitting. You have to be willing to make an equal investment. And just because you have more liabilities doesn't mean I should share in that investment. You dig? It's enough that I'm paying for the meal. Why do I have to pay for the meal, your child care, your Uber, man, what is we doing? How cold do you think you are? That you so much better than me that I have to invest up front more than you do.
Right. Yeah.
And that's that. You know what I'm saying? So once again, when you start talking about look, keep in mind, I'm not saying don't enjoy your looks. Don't celebrate your looks. Don't celebrate the effort that you put into your body and your Pilates and yourself or whatever. Just know if you do it too much, that's what you're known for. And the shit is a depreciating asset. So now you have to either reinvent yourself at some point or go through surgeries, or you got to maintain everything you sold up front. Like the kids say, keep that same energy. Keep that same energy. So the thing about a chick that prides herself on cooking and punctuality and going to church and speaking respectfully to you, that shit ages very well.
Yeah. Very
well. A chick that says something and means it, that shit ages very well. A chick you can count on to not talk big and talk all crazy and follow the trends of social media, that ages very well. Yeah. The reason why a chick that follows social media doesn't age well is because social media doesn't age well. It's all over the place.
Right. You're going to have different things, different trends.
Man, so you trying to keep up with out there, and in here, we trying to create stability. That doesn't go together. Stability. So if like you said, if she's established when I get there, I know what I'm working with for the next 10, 15, 20, 30 that I can build on. But I know the foundation is there. And that's a beautiful thing. I'm not going to talk to a chick that's had her kids taken. I don't give a fuck what the circumstances was. I don't care what the circumstances was. You have been so unfortunate that I shouldn't have to inherit your misfortune. Yes, it could have been a great reason why God decided to put you in such an uncomfortable and miserable situation. It is not for me to be the vessel of you getting out of that.
Right.
I've done too much in my life and in my times to inherit that burden, inherit that liability. I got enough liability that I can work on myself. And you should have a little liability you can work on yourself. And those are liabilities I can accept. Some things that I cannot accept is you choosing bad dudes in the past that still have to come around because y'all got kids. That's not gonna work for me. That's not what makes me think I'm why were you so bad at choosing before you met me? Like, these are the questions that an asshole like me asks, is that, hey, why is every other dude that you fool with not even a high school graduate? Why is every other dude, why is all your exes, you know what I'm saying, got these similar qualities, and then you just happen to run into me? I always wanted a guy like you, but I just really didn't go for it. And then something told me, just go for it. Oh, okay. Congratulations on that growth, but I'm not the guinea pig for that. You don't know how to be with a dude like me. You know what I'm saying?
I'm okay. Like if as long as you got boundaries, but you want the dude to come around without boundaries, I'm not signing up for that.
The problem is people only know what they know, right? You can only shoot the caliber of bullet that the gun calls for. So if all you know is drama, or all you know is a dude talking loud, or all you know is my mom can't stand when a motherfucker pull up and blow the horn for you to come out, right? But if that's all you know is that country shit, then you don't see nothing wrong with it.
I'm with mom on that. There's no reason. Everybody needs to wake up in your neighborhood just because you too lazy to get out the fucking car.
So, but you know, when you get to that situation, I'm big on measure twice, cut once. If I give a fuck about my life, my heart, my soul, my spirit, I'm willing to do the 4 seasons that you talked about. I'm willing to see you at Christmas. I'm willing to see you for your birthday. I'm willing to see how you matriculate through this life and times, because I need to see how you react, because it's not about what happens to us, but about how we react to what happens to us. Because life is, you either on your way to trouble, coming out of trouble, or in trouble. Like, that's just the nature of life. That's the nature of things. And how you direct and adjust and make it through those things is very valuable for me to see. Some people crumble quickly, easily. Some people persevere and they shrug it off. They shake it off and move on. I need to see those things when you in that, because the last thing I want to do is start aligning myself with you only to realize this was a bad investment. And if you look at your heart as an investment, if you look at it beyond just a pretty whatever, I've seen people make money and realize all money ain't good money. So all beautiful ain't, all attractive is not beautiful. And I think that's where we lose it. And women are very bad at financial attraction equals all these other things, but all it really equals is financial attraction.
Right.
Because the fact is, if you're an entrepreneur, you have to be in such a business set to where that sustains itself. And the only business where the entrepreneurial dynamic sustains itself is an invention. Meaning I could have a laundromat, and it could get to the point where the laundromat is cool, but if I don't own the building that the washers and dryers are in, and as the neighborhood gets better around it, there's less apartments. So there's less people using the laundry. Like, there's so many different things that don't age well when it comes to this hustle. And you got to understand, okay, is what he's doing something that is going to stand the test of time? Because if that's why I'm with him and that changes, that's when the richer or poorer, sickness and health, that kind of stuff, the stresses that come with the change in percentage of money. I'm not saying he's going to lose all his money in the laundromat, or he's going to lose all his money in whatever he's investing in. What I am saying is that finances fluctuate unless you got a job, steady corporate job, right? But then you could lose that corporate gig and have to figure something else out. It depends on how you've reinforced yourself with education and connections and all that. It's all a big hustle. So you got to really look at his hustle, his hustle portfolio, right? That's what we're going to call it. Look at his or her hustle portfolio and see how much contingency is built in there. But if your whole dream is, I'm going to open my own, and then I'm going to just have people work in there, and that's what I'm going to retire on. You betting on people then.
Yeah, that's somebody
You're betting
else.
on the
That's
success of others.
That's too much.
You're not talking about the real estate. You're talking about the leasing and the renting.
Right.
And that's a volatile, fluid dynamic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we can't really eat consecutively and consistently off of hoping that people pay on time. We can't really travel consecutively and consistently off hoping that people do what they're supposed to do. So we got to have some other kind of business model that's got a little bit more. Even in a corporate situation, if they take the job, they give me severance. So I got time to reconstruct the figures and go back in and figure this thing out to rebuild what I already have built. In these other situations where you got a lot of black folks that talk about generational wealth, do this and that, and she got all these aspirational, we talked about it in the pod last year. I'm not having an aspirational conversation with a chick on the first date, second date, all of that. I'm not about to do that. I'm not about to go all in to start things off, because that's not a pace I want to keep up. We going Dutch the first 3. We going Dutch. And you think that you trading your attractiveness or your preparedness physically in for a meal or a drive or an experience. That's a bad trade. I'm a better negotiator than that.
Yeah, that's when you end up getting meal robbed. I know you don't agree with that.
Give me a good understanding of how you could qualify being meal robbed.
Meal robbed is when you say you're going Dutch, or you saying you're going to pay, and then you get there and you all of a sudden
change your mind,
don't have it, or change your mind, or be manipulative about it. You get meal robbed because the dude wants to get out of the place without going to jail. But
here's the situation. Mm-hmm. What if the nature of the negotiation changes throughout? So let me make up a scenario. I'm with this chick and she says, hey, I want to go out and I want to choose this spot. And it's a spot that she chooses. And she says, I'd like to go Dutch. And she's doing that. It's kind of like the old, you on a blind date, but you tell somebody to call you 25 minutes later. So if you don't really feel the motherfucker, you can say, hey, I got an emergency that came up. So let's do it like this. She tells me, we're going to go Dutch. I say, cool. We get there. And then she realized he's worth the draws, right?
Right.
So I don't want to go Dutch because I'm going to pay him with dessert. You dig? Or I'm sorry, it's going to even out. I'm not a pay situation, but it's going to even out with this dessert. So you want to renegotiate the established standard of the date protocol. Yeah. And now you're like, hey, I know I said we was going to go Dutch, but would you mind taking this one and I'll take the next? Like, is that a conversation to be had? And then it's kind of implied that I'm going to make it worth your while to pay for my burger with cheese?
No. You counting too much at that point. You count too much. You're spending my money on your sex, and I didn't agree to it. If the agreement at that time was we were going to go Dutch, we got to finish this Dutch. We can renegotiate terms later, but you can't renegotiate terms in your head and say, okay, since this date went well to me, then I'm going to restructure this contract without my knowledge. No, you gotta.
You just inspired, and I know we're about to come to a close, but you just inspired a whole nother pod, and that is, I don't know the woman. I haven't met yet the woman that doesn't think that the guy wants to sleep with her.
Ooh, okay, we can talk about that. So, damn. Let's go ahead and close this one out, though. So, final thoughts. Both of us are visual. We both like visual things. I'm saying that I have matured in my visual, where I also would take some intellect with it, or you become ugly to me. And I think you've evolved too, because I don't see you pulling up at the junior high. So my final question to you is: Denzel wrong for talking to his friend Samuel L. Jackson on the phone, and Paula over here? Hey, Paula ain't much to look at, but she's good to me.
Yes, he's wrong. He's wrong, and because you shouldn't have to qualify it. But I also think that the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. I think that we naturally, as men and as human beings, have a tendency to always wonder what if I could. If I could hit this chick and get away with it.
Else.
If I could hit this chick, this is how side chicks are built. Say it again.
That's the best he could do. He don't want nobody else.
But once again, it's the situation where it's the 80-20 rule. No woman is 100% of everything you need. That's just not how they build women, right? It's a manufactured defect. Right. So a lot of guys get distracted by that 20%. And that 20% is more often than not physical or short-term investment, you know what I'm saying, where she don't talk as much. Like I can have a Vegas type of dynamic where what happens here stays here, and I can take a step away from my normal. This is why vacations are important, because it takes a break from the monotony of your normal life, and you can live in an existence for just a moment that's different than what you're used to. You can get room service, or you can be in the sun, or whatever. People that live in the Caribbean, where the fuck do they take vacations?
At the crib? I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what, do you go to the mountain? Do you go to Aspen? Like, think about this. You know what I'm saying? So the idea of a vacation is I couldn't actively live there because it chooses to not be as valuable. Nobody cheats on they girl with a chick that's just like they girl. That's defeating the purpose. She's got something good, bad, or indifferent that's different from your girl. And so you're willing to accept that. It's different. It might be somebody that's dating a stripper and cheating with a librarian. You know what I'm saying? That's not impossible.
You know the Dewey Decimal System. Yeah.
So right, that's funny. But the situation is, so yes, the fact that you have to bring it up or that you have to qualify it to your people or your buddy, even if it's your brother, your best friend, your dad, whatever, when you bring up, I know that she's not this, it means that you feel like you could do better. It feels like she's not the best. And if that was the case, why did you invest in something that wasn't the best? So that's an insecurity that men have to get over. Yeah. The chick that you with is the chick that you with. And the moment that she's not the chick you want to be with, that's a conversation to be had. Whole nother podcast about renegotiating the terms of a marriage. But once you realize I've outgrown you, or you've outgrown me physically, or whatever the case, I'm no longer attracted to how you'll get down, or you've proven yourself to be less than what I thought you would be at this stage in our marriage. This is why the divorce rate is so high. They make it so easy to get divorced because you can evaluate, this ain't for me like I thought it was. Unfortunately, the nature of people is, with all these influences and all these ideas and things going around, people change so quickly because they're easily programmed. They easily are convinced to think that what I have could be better. We got a BMW, and we got a $500,000 house, and we have a lake across the house from across from our house that we can go fish in, and all this other stuff. And then the lady next door move in, and she got a Bentley, and then they get a pool put in the back, and all of a sudden you on my bumper about why didn't we ever get a pool? What the fuck is you doing? Like we are good. Why are you looking at that and comparing it to, you have no idea what else is going on in their lives. You have no idea if somebody died and they went through that misery and inherited something to get that pool built. But women have a tendency to always look at other women.
This concludes another episode of the Holla Points podcast, where we act as your therapeutic outlet on topics many think about but are afraid to speak on.
I get your mind right, yeah. I get your mind right, yeah.
Oh, you're welcome.